gentlemen, wanasema tuko back, tumetoka kipindi kifupi tu cha mapumziko. And I always ask you, ukiwa hapo nyumbani, if you are a business person, if you are an artist, if you are watu wa gym, every Thursday tuko na show ya gym hapa hivi asubuhi before 7 am. Unafaa unajiuliza, if your ad is running on our TV, especially on this youth-driven show with youth guests, with everything else, guests, youth behind the scene, youth kwa camera, youth huko nyuma, hao ni watu ambao you can sell to. They are a very big market. We are here for the newspaper review at exactly 8:46 am. Zinakatika ama zimebaki dakika 15 itimie saa 3 asubuhi. What aggrieved Gen Z want amid broken promises is on the Star. We are going to analyze that. We are also going to analyze Lagat off the hook. When we talk about Lagat, we are talking about the profile of police boss also fighting, who is also fighting a petition in court to save his job. And we also have the Standard, ambao wameset standard sana when it comes to matters protecting citizens' rights, kukuwa pale hivyo on social justice na masuala mengine, reminding me that on set Onyango Adero kwa hapa hivi is also an activist too. And I want to introduce my set, ndio nikishawa introduce itakuwa noma tena zaidi. So from Homa Bay, ladies and gentlemen, I want the president of Homa Bay Students Association to say hi, tuambie nini kingine wewe unafanya pale hivyo, and what you're doing here in Nairobi now that wewe uko home and away, uko kila mahali.
Thank you for the opportunity. Dero Nyango Regan, a finalist at Kenyatta University, and also one of the student leaders from the Nyanza Caucus representing Homa Bay University Student Association as their president. I'm also head of youth in the campaign team of my incoming women representative Homa Bay County, Honorable Rachel Gutu, termed as Derjak. Here in Nairobi, I also serve as brand ambassador to I&M Bank, campus brand ambassador. Yeah, so that's what I do.
Kabisa. Regan, jina lake kamili bado Wadero Onyango, is also the former Onagi chair. Onagi inajulikana sana in all over the country, and especially in among the tertiary students associations wanaijua sana Onagi. He has been very pivotal. He's a passionate youth leader. Amefanya mengi hadi hapa KM. I've seen you in the front line.
Yes, you see, we need to fight for what is right. So when now the Kenya Power were trying to bring some shenanigans, they wanted to take our transformer and to take it to those big people. Sisi watu wa chini watupatie ile empire. We are just to go out and fight for what is right for us. Yeah.
A lot of social impact at the community level. You're studying at the university, you're practicing it in the university neighborhoods, and you're taking it all the way to Homa Bay.
Yes.
For a holistic approach, Kenya is right.
Yes, that's what is called giving back to the community. You see, that is where I was raised. That is where I knew 1, 2, 3. So at least after gaining some experience outside, you need also to take that experience back home so that your people also to understand what is right and what is good and the kind of things that we are championing for. Yeah.
Kabisa. On the same set, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Kenyatta University, Parklands campus, residing in the main campus each and every day. I'm talking about Wakili. Karibu sana, Victor.
Yes, thank you for having me. As you've said, I'm Victor Kimathi Victor Kitonga. I am doing my second year in law. I am a student representative at Kenyatta University Campus Students Association. I also serve as the Legal Affairs Secretary in Limuru Students Association, among many other things. But basically and primarily, I believe that the truth is something that most of the youths are running away from, and someone has to stand to speak it and to call out what is negative for what it is, because few people are saying it, but simply because it is the right thing to do.
Kabisa. Manze, Kenyatta University has been given a whole multitude of 10,000 students who are joining through KUCCPS placed to do different courses right here at the university. From where you sit as a second year in the School of Law, how is that course? From where you sit, unaweza encourage aje mtoi mwenye anataka kuingia afanye the same course?
Law. Yes, I'll encourage them to take it if they feel it is what they want to take. It can be the best decision they ever do, because it is one it is very wide. So whether you target cooperatives, whether you are targeting personal work, I mean, it is very crucial to know the law. We are living at times where we are law-abiding citizens. Like, things are regulated by laws. So when you get to know the law, you have a much more smooth time. So I really encourage them to take it. Yes.
It's very important. We are in Africa, and Africa is our business, and we're also living in a country where those who are entrusted with maintaining law and order are lawless, are killing people during days, broad daylight. I look at the standard, I see a victim of that, a young lady, 24 years, and the standard is saying, oh no, not again. Another killing after a day-long standoff between two state security agencies. Not demonstrations, not Gen Zs on the road, but two security agencies, the police and the prison service, over where a 24-year-old Julia Karaoke lost her life. The prison service has admitted she died in their custody, though they claim she arrived already injured. Same case, same scenario, except now that hapa hivi is full responsibility of what we call fahari wawili wakipigana, and Nyasi being the future of our country. 24 years we have lost someone. The Daily Nation have a smiling man with the glasses, looking serious, but they are saying he's off the hook. They are saying police boss also fighting petition to court to save his job. Lagat off the hook. Nataka tuongelele the winning headline kati ya hizi tatu, nyinyi kama vijana na nyinyi kama watu ambao wamejaza akili na mali. The Star wanasema what aggrieved Gen Z want amid broken promises. Now that you are Gen Zs from Homa Bay, then tukuje hapa kwa Getoga. Na Getoga sikawe na abia. Winning headline.
Yes, I will go with that for The Star, because the root cause of our problem is this fake promises. What aggrieved Gen Z want amid broken promises. You see other headlines like, oh no, not again. It is because of how aggrieved we are. And I think when we can solve these problems, what we want in terms of employment, the economic development, I think all these shenanigans we are having here in the Daily Nation, the Standard, by now we are not supposed to talk about them, because as Gen Z we set at our demands. You see, the reason why we are moving to even in the streets is because we don't have something to do. You see, after graduating, you see, there's a lot that us as Gen Z we need. We are fighting for this nation not because we want it the way we are doing it, but it's because there's something that we want that has not been achieved. And one of them that I can say is, you see, in layman's language, pesa mfukoni. How is that one can be achieved? Those are the questions that we should ask ourselves. And that's now bringing us even to this Daily Nation, laggard off the hook, you see? Because we are fighting. And in the process of fighting, the government is also finishing us on the other side. And you see, the justice has not been served even for Ojwang the other day. And you see, the same guy who resigned to allow the investigative authority to conduct their investigations.
He just stepped aside,
yeah,
to allow room for investigation.
Room for investigation.
And that's why he is back.
He's back. So,
And on the same day he is back,
yeah.
on a separate newspaper,
Yes.
we are learning about what his officers are doing
Yes.
behind the scene.
Yeah, a good insight. Now the question is, he steps aside for investigation. The issue is not as the investigation completed and what are the results. You see, is the justice served? You see, based on him stepping aside. And he should tell us, because you see, he stepped aside and he wrote a letter. He should again come publicly to write for us a letter that I stepped aside to allow investigation to be done, and this was the result. And the justice was served like this and like this. And if we go this way, that is the reason, even if you see no, not again. You see what now the standard is saying. The following day we will also have the same, because the justice has not been served. These police people will just be doing. They were claiming, the other day they were claiming, Ojwang killed himself. How can you kill yourself in a police custody? You see? Today they are saying, the lady was found already with some problems. You see? So until that time, the government will be responsible for the wrongdoings that they are doing. In fact, for Lagat, he should not, unless proven otherwise, he should not even hold any public office as we speak.
Wakili, I think law matters a lot.
Law does matter.
And our people have not gotten maybe what I would call enough civic education, but we are on the right track. Because we are coming from an age yenye ukisikiza Riga na Dero vizuri anasema DIG Lagat alifaa kuandika barua ya masuala kama haya. Wazee wao wanaamini hizi vitu ni sisi tunafaa kufanya. You are the people who will send to school. They are forgetting that tulikuwa tunasoma ndio tuwaambie kunafanyagwa hivyo wafanye. You can't just wake up, tell us you've stepped aside, after 2 days unataka wewe urudi ofisi utuambie washafanya kesi, and we still have the same case in the corridors of justice.
I think something is awfully wrong.
In your winning headline.
What I'll give us the winning headline.
Shikanisha zote.
The standard. Yeah, no, not again. Because one, with the Daily Nation, they're saying that Lagat is off the hook. That's not something that's pleasant. It's not even news. I think Kenyans are even expecting it. We are having a system that is quite wrong. I mean, something is wrong. If you are the suspect, and they are now releasing you due to investigations that they've done, then who have they apprehended? They cannot be releasing you. Our life was already lost. So by the time they are releasing you, it's because they have had another lead. And it wasn't you. Who was it? Because we are not freeing you so that you can go and then we let the story die. The story can't die because the government can't give life. No one can give life. So it is the obligation to protect this life at all costs. Going to our constitution, in our Bill of Rights, it acknowledges that as a fundamental function of the government is to protect the rights of the people. So if an institution calling itself government cannot act to this fundamental role of protecting rights, then do we have a government at hand? There's something we call in law the social contract theory. That government is there because you and I have allowed it to be there, technically. We have given a little bit of our power, you've given a little bit of your power. I have, a good friend here has, that we have decided that we are not going to hold firearms without licenses. Let the government have a police force that will hold firearms so that they can protect us. But then if they are using these firearms to kill us, that we are safer in the hands of armed robbers than in the hands of policemen, then they should put that down and allow us to hold firearms to protect ourselves. I think if the government has capacity to protect us, then it should protect us without us having to fear for our lives. But then if the government that is supposed to protect us is making us more afraid of losing our lives, I mean, even if the story was to be that Ojwang killed himself in police custody, that could have been wrong in itself. Because the role of the police is to protect life. And that is why when you are
arrested, you're told to get off your belt, get off your watch, so that you cannot harm yourself, because it is the duty of the police to protect life of both sane citizens and even insane citizens. They protect lives. So by the time you're coming out to read out a statement that someone has died in a station where there are 10 of you, 20 of you obligated to protect life, that in itself is wrong. Then leave alone that it is you who killed him. Then I'd like to quote Atwoli's words. In whose hands are we safe?
In whose hands are we safe? A question being asked this morning, Papa hapo on KUTV Rise today, by a youth who is doing so much in his capacity as Legal Affairs Secretary for the students of Kiambu County. Palevo, he has a great role of reshaping conversations that are geared to youth growth, community development, and sustainability. Nafurahi sana that tumetouch base sasa. We have the newspaper here. And the siasa ndo iko juu tena zaidi ya Dero.
Yes, please.
Na baba ako kwa midomo ya watu. Hivi vipi asema baba anachoka? Baba bado wako on the Daily Nation wanasema on page 5, Raila and Gachagua, the unlikely kingmakers. They have strong bases but may not run in 2027.
Yes.
It's in the same era yenye Gen Z millennials wameamua wakasema the narrative of kiongozi wa kesho ends in 2027. 2027 is the kesho of vijana. Talk to us as kijana about the same issue.
Thank you, and Senior, allow us to be factual on this. I was talking here with my good friend. Actually, we are not meeting for the first time. And I was telling him, until that day, we'll change the system. We'll fight these people we don't want, these faces. But for now, I will agree with the headline. Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, regarding Gachagua, will be one of the determinant in the upcoming 2027 elections. Because the problem we have as Kenyan citizens, we don't go and vote for good leadership. We go there to vote against someone. The same situation we are experiencing now. The song is one term. But what is the solution? You see? So we are going to vote against Ruto, but up to now, we don't know the person we are going to vote in. You see? And that's why the people like Raila Amolo Odinga will come and give us direction. People like Rigathi Gachagua will come and give us direction. I think the system needs to be changed. And the problem with the Kenyan system, I think, is about when it comes to the government part, where, you see, when I support you, you expect a hand back. For example, today, what Raila can do is maybe what he did in 2002, according to the age factor.
That he may say Ruto tosha.
He may say Ruto tosha, and maybe Ruto might win because the hostility of the ground for Ruto. And you see, however much we can deny the fact that Baba is losing ground, I'm telling you, I'm from Nyanza. Baba is still the man to speak there.
Walai.
Yeah.
From Homa Bay, we are speaking to the president of Homa Bay students association.
And not that I'm happy when now Baba will come, and because you see, I was not off idea of Baba. Actually, something is used to do, coming and endorsing people from ground. You see, that's what I'm always against Baba. But it has been working. You see, and I'm seeing it going to work again in 2027. It's going to endorse someone, and it might work, it might fail. So the question is between Baba and Rigathi. Actually, the route is really out of mix, and the determinant there is Rigathi Gachagua and Raila Amolo Odinga. The fact that we must also agree on is that Rigathi controls the central votes.
So we agree.
Yeah, we agree on that.
Yeah, wakili.
Yeah.
Kiongozi Adero Nyango Reagan is talking about changing a system.
Yes.
You talked about the social contract whereby Kenyans share a part of their power to an institution they call government. Is that a system?
That has to be the system.
Good. We also talk of deep state. If you are changing a system, you're coming from 2022 when a hustler won against a deep state. What is changing the system? Mkenya mwenye ako pale hivyo kwa grassroots, wakati anaambiwa the system needs to change, president anamuondolea AG, the system needs to change, president anaondoa deputy president, the system needs to change, kunakuwa na cabinet reshuffle. What is system and how do we change system from a mwananchi's common language?
Number one, if we were to change the system, we will start with our constitution, because we say that the constitution is the grand norm. It is what leads, and then the other norms, the other casual activities follow. If the constitution does not allow it, then it cannot fall as part of the normalities that usually happen. So I think number one, even before we get to changing the system, I think there are individuals or offices that need to understand their role. You started by saying that it's like Kenyans haven't understood enough. To put it into better terms, the literacy, it's, for lack of a better term, it's the literacy levels. When you look at our constitution and then it delimits the powers of the president in the police force, and then it sets him to appoint someone who is only answerable to the constitution and to God as the police boss, and the public does not know of this. Article 245 of the Kenyan Constitution, it says that the police command is only under the Inspector General, who submits to no one but the Constitution. His obligation is to follow the Constitution. Then it is the Inspector General who reads out a statement saying that Ojwang killed himself. And then the people, not knowing of this, they will blame the president. We see a constitution that more or less contradicts itself. It wants to place someone in check of all the government agencies and delimit his powers. But before we get there, I think every individual should learn his obligation first. What is the agenda of the office of the president? Are you there only to have flights in and out of the country? What is the obligation when citizens are dying? They elected you into office. You had 25% plus in every county in Kenya. Yet their children are dying and you're not saying a word. I think everyone needs to understand their obligation. Number two, I'd like to give my input on the Raila Gachagua. The Raila Gachagua in 2027 dynamics. Looking at previous elections, you cannot want to practice law without analyzing the law. Looking at previous elections, the system we have currently drives us to our worst position every single election, from 1997 to 2007. What we had in 1997 was better off compared to what we had in 2007. 2007, we had an election that called for the two leading candidates. They had to have a dialogue for us to settle. After 2007, we had the 2017 election. I think that is when we go to court and have an election nullified. So whatever we are expecting in 2022, looking at the trends, we look back at our in 2027. We look back at 2022 and we'll say things were much better in 2022. So something has to be done, because with the current system, every step we are making it into a much thicker darkness than where we are from. I mean, look at our budgets, for example. As a country, we have formed budgets that we cannot meet for more than 15 years previously. You look at what KRA is reflecting. We are expecting this amount of money. We are expecting 2 trillion. Then
Parliament goes ahead to pass a budget that is worth 3 trillion. So we've been borrowing. And you know, we can't borrow forever. I was using this analogy just the other day. I had a discussion with the youths at Limuru, and we were saying something has to be done. You know, you cannot promise us heaven on earth, and then on sitting as president, you continue doing things the same way. The other day, William Ruto was saying, why was Mwai Kibaki not receiving heckles and noise from everyone? I mean, if we wanted Mwai Kibaki, we could have elected Mwai Kibaki. If we wanted Uhuru back in office, we could have adjusted the constitution to allow him to run again. But we wanted change. That's why we elected you, so you cannot come again to tell us that you're going to do things just because they were done. And we were saying, if I took a loan this month and I was to pay it next month, I'll be rich this year, right? But then come the month I'm supposed to pay, I'll be poor. I'll be in a crisis. So why do we continue to pass a budget? Something is awfully wrong in Parliament. Something is awfully wrong in State House. Why do you allow a budget that you cannot finance to go through again and again? Like you take a loan and then you do a budget that you cannot handle. You take another loan, you still do a budget. Something needs to change, and I'd agree with my brother here.
They are calling it budgeted corruption.
Yeah, this has to be budgeted corruption.
Okay. It looks black and white, I'd say maybe plain white, from the corridors of justice, the law and the picture of Kenya and how Kenya should look like. Because if this system was working right, then we are a very wealthy country. That's why Nairobi is considered the Silicon Valley of Africa. The Silicon Savannah of Africa. Adero Onyango.
Yes, please.
You've talked about the need to change systems.
Sure.
You've also talked about that Kenyans are singing one term without knowing who will replace
This
Ruto.
Yeah.
If we don't know who will replace Ruto, it's like you are saying we are okay then with continuing whoever is there, now that Baba advised that it is good to have a broad-based government. Where are you coming from?
Thank you, and I'll be very sorry to my brother on this. First, before I answer that question, I want just to comment something based on the insights just given. You see, that's why the reason why I was talking about the system. First, I will expound more on the system. What is this system I was talking about? You see, politics is about interest. But you see, these are the same people who are working together some years back. They were in the Moi's government, some were in the Kibaki's government, Pentagon, and everything. You see, the same Gachagua, whom we are talking about, is now in opposition fighting his boss. You see, it's the same guy who was singing the boys as one of his darling. You see, and he was really exemplifying him for how good he is. So the system we are trying to fight is the system where, and actually it's being triggered with the tribalism, where there are people from a certain region who believes that this man is always right. Let's get it through my lenses like this. When we are talking on voting pattern of Kenya now, you realize that there are some specific people who must speak is when a certain individual must fall. We must fight that system. And that system cannot be fought if, you see, you are a taxpayer. I'm also a taxpayer. My brother is a taxpayer. Is entitled for everything in terms of development. And the system that is there that I also feel is kinda triggering this tribalism to go forward is where now we are in the government. We are entitled for this development. That when you are in opposition now you cannot get this development. You see? That is the problem. That's why you see.
That's the system we need to change.
The system we need to change.
So that we can have equitable share of national resources.
Personally, and this one of the lawyer here will tell you that when you are paying tax, for example, last election, the people who made this government was from Central Rift Valley. And you see, after this guy had won an election, they went ahead to share the majority to their regions. And they were saying, in the words of Gachagua, sisi tunajua hii serikali ni yetu na hii ni ya shareholders. You see, until we fight that system of shareholders, Amalu can easily vote somebody from Northeastern, not because they are majority, but because he's the best or she's the best leader that should drive this country. You see, so until we fight that system, that also will lead to this issue of tribalism will come to an end. Because I know, even if I don't vote our own, I will vote another person and I will still be served right way as entailed in the constitution.
Yeah, I've gotten that answer of where you're coming from. You're coming from, you are still in the journey of changing the system. That's why Gachagua is not in government.
Yes.
And as part of changing the system, Baba is in government.
Yes.
So that the system can change. Those who call themselves shareholders, they are not shareholders today, and the national resources zinaingia maeneo mengine.
Yes, you see, we don't need Baba for Nyanza to get development.
But I heard you say he's the Baba.
You see, we need, that is the system. Now, how are we going to change that system? The system is, we don't need Baba for Nyanza to get employment. We don't need Gachagua for central people to get employment. Remember, you are entitled for this employment. You elected the government to serve you, whether you voted him or not, that government, because you are entitled for that service. Yeah, until we change that system where your own is in the government is when you can be served, I think we will not go where we want it to be. Yeah, that's the system that we must change.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
Nimeiona fiti sana. Tuingie kwa issue next as tunaenda pole pole mdogo mdogo kuenda kukiwaka, and I'm liking it. I am not the dad. Man wants name removed from birth certificate. This is national news on the Standard, and they are talking about a man that the man admits he fathered a second child with the woman, but insists he never agreed to take responsibility for her firstborn. He claims the woman used his ID without permission and altered the child's birth certificate to list him as a biological father. Wakili, tuko kwa law hapa hivi, law and biology, and they are saying what is being eyed hapa hivi ni pesa za huyu mjamaa, and his monthly expenses are listed as follows: rent 30k, food 5k, house help 12,000, utilities 5,000, internet 4,000, school fee for 3 minors per term 45k each. He is usually left with a negative balance of 20k after amejituma a whole month. Wakili, you are a young man right now.
Yes.
A Gen Z, a second year. In a world yenye the people who are there kuenda maandamano kwao wanaanzaga kwanza na kuandika eulogy. Na wanasema if anything happens, mkoro hii 2 million isitumie vibaya. Usikuwa na tamaa ya pesa za huyu, sijui usifanye hivi. They are ready for anything and everything.
I'd say much or less of this is my opinion. Kenya is turning to become like a national widespread circus show.
National widespread circus show.
Kuna wale wanaactia Rift Valley, wengine wanaactia Coastal Region, wengine wako huko Northeastern. It just doesn't make sense. You look at that story and from the beginning you wonder what this man was thinking. I have agreed to father, but I have not agreed to the obligations that follow. You think that the guy doesn't know what he's saying until you get to analyze the details. There's something they say that
the budget.
The devil is in the detail. And looking into that budget, surely the devil is in that budget. Like
Angalie tu budget.
Mzee hajakula, hajafanya kitu na pesa. Amepata kiraka ya
20,000. Na anasema no, it can't continue.
This up for 1 year. It's a $250,000 debt. Yeye hajafanya kitu, ni watoto peke yake. Hata mama hakuna kitu, ni watoto peke yake $250,000. Na hapa ndio tunasema as a society we need something that drives our moral obligation. That as a young man, as a young woman, when you think of social institutions like marriage, some of us, sorry to say, because we want to blame society, yet we are society, and that doesn't make sense. We are viewing institutions, social institutions, as an economic activity. I'm getting into marriage so that I can earn money, so that like I can draft a budget yenye inasema ni 45,000 ya school fees, nitafute, so that leads us to 135,000.
Yeah.
135,000 nitafute mahali watasoma na 100, na after kufanya hiyo economic strategy niokoe 35,000, and that should be my job, and that can't work. And I think we should call a spade a spade. I think there is a generation that slept in handing over the baton, because you cannot hand over the baton of like teaching the younger population about marriage if you did not put in them the values that are required to walk into a marriage. Because clearly, even if this young man wants to keep up with this, it is logically impossible.
If you are thinking that,
Yes.
and the young brain that is speaking is a Gen Z brain, then shida iko hapa. I think shida ni millennials. Adero, we are coming from an era yenye fair siku hizi haikuliwi sana, ama ni mimi sipati watu wananitisha fair. The Gen Z lady yeye haitishi fair sana, so hiyo inapungua. Yeye haingii kama hapa hivi ndo nitatoa fair, hapa ndo nitatoa nini, and hizi vitu zote. From where you're coming from, hii life ya dating, especially for the young people, iko aje huko Homa Bay? How is the picture like?
My perspective, you see, the problem with the youths, they want to get into something, but they don't want to have that responsibility. I think that is the issue here, because even the issue in the standard here of the man that is anasema that I'm not the dad, but I've gone through the story, and you see the same man is giving us a story how they met, and they even knew the child before they get into that relationship. So when now responsibility now begins, now you see the man trying to shift away from that responsibility. It's not something that the guy was not aware of. He knew that I'm getting into this relationship with this woman or this lady, and this lady or this woman has this child. You see? But now a time comes where now the child also needs to be taken care of. And now see, I cannot take care of this child. Not because you are not aware, but because you want to drift away from such responsibility. So I think my advice to youth, we need to be responsible, and we need to be very, very curious on what we are doing at what time, so that we don't drag ourselves in such messes, that at least you've settled with someone, then we bring out some chaos that we would have prevented if we would have indulged ourselves on certain issues at good time and when it's necessary to do that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
For the sake of that beautiful future that we all fight for,
Yeah.
some of us have died in the streets for that future. Family na mata sana. And in a world yenye tusha learn, tushajua that families, nimemeet leo Wakili Kimathi Victor Gitonga, I consider him a brother. I've met Regan today, I consider him a brother. That is family. So that as tunaambia hawa viongozi mnatukosea hapa hivi, tuko na moral authority ya kuwaambia, because we are responsible ourselves. Pale watu ambao wanalia zaidi hii historia ya kuambia wewe ukikosea unaambia ukweli ni watu wa Kisumu. Educators on same page 2 about education. Educators are furious after Kisumu MP publicly shamed teachers. Teachers union have strongly condemned Kisumu East MP Shakil Shabir for making derogatory public remarks against the teachers at St. Peter's Kindu Secondary School, terming them a blatant show of disrespect to teaching profession. We are talking about how Kenya is full of suckers, show stars and actors. Mbunge amesema the same pale hivyo akiambia walimu, and he has not done it in nice words as you said. Let's address our viongozi wakituambia sisi juu tumeona viongozi wakitukashifu vikali. Kuna viongozi wamekuwa wakitusema vile Gen Z and millennials are just a group of digital workers.
They even call us fools. Yes.
Even terrorists, anarchists. We've seen situations whereby in some part of the country someone is burning a police station, being charged with arson, amewasha moto, imekuwa moto. Another person burns a police station, being charged with terrorism, yet pia yeye ni moto amewasha. As these leaders pretend they are speaking truth to our power now, what can you remind them?
I think they need to be reminded that we are in a transition. I saw the remarks the other day of CS Interior, and he was saying that anyone who goes around a police station should be shot. Then the media in one way or another quoted that. Then in his defense, he was saying that a CS cannot give a command to the police. And my question remains, so he knew very well that a CS cannot issue a command to the police. But since he's addressing the people of Kenya, whom he deemed not smart enough to know that, he started to say that he is now issuing a command that anyone who approaches a police station should be shot. That does not make sense. As a leader, you know what is right and you know what is wrong. Then you decide to do exactly what's not right for gains that only you know. I think that is very wrong.
We are talking about an issue that even former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has condemned, and it has also made it to the Star on National News page 2, whereby they are talking about Ruto told to apologize and revoke shoot order. Order has been denounced, but some lawmakers applaud use of lethal force. Human Rights NGO, the Independent Medical Legal Unit, has demanded a public apology and withdrawal of the orders to shoot violent protesters by President William Ruto and Interior CS Kipchumba Murko. I've heard people calling them Murko women. Murko men. Wewe unaweza semaje bro? Uko hapo hivyo at the helm of changing system.
Yes, sure. First, the issue of the MP, before I dwell in Murkomen's issue, and I've gone through the story. I've seen where he has sent an apology, which is good. But I think even if you have a problem and you are a leader, this is a way you can solve these problems. Sometimes you don't need to go to public, and to make it worse, the students were also there. And you see me coming out publicly to tell you such a thing in front of the students you are lecturing or your students is something abomination. How will these students take me as a teacher? Say, kumbe, this how our teachers are. And you see, these teachers are the people who are guiding us. So when you are trying to trigger them otherwise, you are making unnecessary result out of that. The issue of Murkomen, unless you are a mad person, you can support that. And even President himself, I was surprised, giving the same utterances, which is against the conduct of a Kenyan citizen, you see. But again, even if you are fighting the system, we are fighting the government, we are changing the system, there's a way, and my brother here will tell us how we can do it constitutionally. because even as Gen Z, saa zingine we are going overboard. That can also trigger someone to say something bad. You see, we are fighting for the good governance. We are fighting for good leadership. We are fighting for this employment. But immediately, someone who has at least built something we are fighting for, someone have started his or her own business because there is no employment. You see, it is us Gen Z who are being used, or in the name of fighting for this country, we are going to destroy their properties. It's very saddening. You understand how Kenya is today, that after struggling, you set up your business, you set up your supermarket. Then, from nowhere, you are being used to come and destroy in the name of fighting. What are we fighting for? You see, this thing started as a good thing, but the direction we are going into, I feel like there are some people who are like very innocent and they know what they are fighting for, but there are some intruders who want to use this opportunity to destroy public properties, to bring Gunism in it. And you see, at the same time, police is to defend my life, is to protect me. And even now, if someone wants to destroy your properties and you are watching, you can't allow. So it's very saddening, and I will also advise my fellow young youths that let us do what is right by fighting for this, what belongs to us. Fighting for what belongs to us is not going and destroy Mama Mboga's property. It's not going to destroy supermarket there. Let us speak out. Let us go to the street and fight for what? Let us demand for what is right for us from the government. But let us not go to the street and start destroying public property, start destroying our roads, which we are the people who are financing through our taxes. That's why the money that was supposed to be used to create those employment are now being used to repair the roads that we have destroyed outside there.
Who are destroying this property? Are they really the Gen Z?
Yes, we see our Gen Z are being misused. Because if you see even this Gunism, these are youths. You see, the other day they were in Nairobi CBD. The other day they were in Kirinyaga, Kiambu. And if you watch the clip very well, these are not millennials. These are Gen Zs. So amidst fighting for what is right for us, there's someone who is using us, or us ourselves taking advantage of what we are fighting for. And it's something which is wrong. Yeah.
Sometimes one may ask,
Yes.
the place of Boniface Karaoke, who is now laid to rest,
Yes.
the opinion of Julia Karaoke, 24-year-old girl who was shot by a stray bullet that did not even involve demonstrations.
Yes.
But as people are struggling to gather answers for such questions, the Star today talked about what the Gen Z want amid those broken promises, and I want to wakili ashikanishe hizi zote ndio tuache kukaa kama tunachanganyikiwa. Sometimes we say we fight for what we want, but bado tunasema no, we don't fight. What is fighting and how should it be done? Here's what Gen Z want. This is according to the Star, and they're saying reveal polls. Political dissatisfaction, the high cost of living, and youth joblessness top the list of Gen Z concerns, even as the government promises reforms and economic empowerment. This is a shift from June 2024, when the finance bill was the main bone of contention. Kenyans poured into the streets up in arms against heavy taxation and a wastage of public cash on non-priority expenditure, coupled with the public display of opulence. I remember you even touched on budgeting for a loan that you don't have.
Yes, yes.
Tutafanya aje sisi Gen Z wenye sasa imekuwa?
Ninafikiria before we can even tackle that, we need to clear something that people have, the general public has gotten wrong. There are Gen Zs and Gunzis. When you see a car being burnt, it raises a question. Who woke up from home to go burn a car? with what motive? We say in law, there are two things that we look into before substantiating that one is culpable for a criminal offense. Unasema there is the intention and then there is the criminal act. So what was his intention at first? If you were keen to listen to what Mike Sonko had to say, he said when he was in government as the governor for Nairobi County, they would buy a car, torch the car, then claim that it was the opposition who were rioting.
Ndio wasiseme ni wewe umesema. It happened in 2017.
Yes.
Alisema 2017 maandamano walifanya exactly
walifanya hivyo. And you see, if this is the trend in our government, young people are rising to call bad governance for what it is. Who has intentions with Mathai's supermarket, with Magunas? What for? What am I gaining? Now that I have a 2 kg flour at my home, imetoboka, inasemekana nimeiba hiyo. Nimepata nini kweli? Mimi nimetoka kwetu nyumbani, nikienda kusema calling out bad governance. There's no way unaweka pesa kwa budget that you want to build an expressway. Then the expressway is built, then I have to pay again. If you are building it on loan, let it be on loan. Pesa yetu ifanye kitu ingine, yende inunue dawa, inunue vaccine. A while ago hatukuwa na vaccines, we were short on BCG vaccines. And that puts our children at risk. Kukosa vaccine kama ya BCG, kukosa vaccine kama ya polio. You know what that means? That means that in the next 20 years we are risking our workforce. What polio does, inafanya mtu anapata ulemavu yenye ingezuiliwa. Imagine a workforce 20 years from now, a period of 3 months yenye watoto hawakupata chanjo. Na wewe hii pesa ulibudgetia kufanya nini? Kulipa ghost activities, kujenga mahospitali ambazo hazionekani, kujenga, it just does not make sense. So there are people getting paid, and it is not the youths. They want to frustrate the youths so that we get discouraged, and not wakati watu wanatoka maandamano wanaelewa vizuri, we are maybe losing 2 billion a day or 10 billion, but we are losing much more when we remain silent. Wakati mtoto anapigwa risasi, live bullet, akiwa kwa nyumba, huyu askari kwani alikuwa na shoot nini aimlessly? Live bullet inafanya nini kwa streets hapo in the first place, kukiwa na tear gas and other things? So that is to correct what they are saying, that Gen Zs are rioting, Gen Zs wanafanya hii na hiyo. It is not that. There are two groups, they differentiate between that. What do the Gen Zs want? And I think the Star have done a very good job in putting the top 3 things that we want. If you come to us and you want a leadership position, and we give you the vote, and then you do not deliver, I think what you expect is backlash. Kama tu hii yenye tuko nayo sahi. Kwa sababu I think it is time the political class learned that as the constitution says that the power is with the people, it is not just in theory. It is not just in theory. Mwenye alikuwa na draft constitution si fan ama comedy, alikuwa anajaribu kutengeneza akisema that power is with the people, that you find favor with the people, then you lead them, because people are grieving that they've lost life. They can't give life, and you can't give life. You can't then get angry at other side shows when life has already been lost. Wanze kusema wengine wapigwe miguu risasi. I like to give the definition. Tukiangalia definition ya murder na attempted murder according to the penal code, inasema ukikose grievous bodily harm. Ojwang, if I was to take a hammer and hit you with a hammer, iwe kwa mguu iwe kwa mkono iwe wapi, it amounts to grievous bodily harm. Na nina expect kwa mahali kama kwa mguu, there are a lot of blood vessels. Na sasa sijui kama tutarudi kufanya biology with our president ama with our leaders, that they understand that causing harm to a body part with a heavy flow of blood is grievous bodily harm that can lead to death. Na sasa according to our laws, that amounts to murder and attempted murder. So what exactly are you saying? We are already dying at your hands, and then you are giving a go ahead for us to continue like that. I think something serious has to change. They have to learn that it is not just for fun that we say that power lies with the masses.
Law students still holding steadfastly to the thought and opinion of something has to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, tuko bado pahali penye memes zinafaa zituchekeshe, lakini our parents today wakiwatch memes wao wanalia because memes zimeenda zime revolve mpaka zimeanza kufufuka. We are seeing former president Mwai Kibaki ile time akiwa na mguu uko na shida na bado akiapishwa, and the Gen Zs are saying hata kama tutashutiwa sote miguu by 2027 lazima tutavote, bado tutaenda maandamano tukiwa na crutches. Don't forget the shoot on foot order. Shooting someone kwa mguu killed Rex Masai in 2024. Alishutiwa mguu, si kichwa, and then kukakaa na kufa. A lot of people will be killed. A lot of people will be killed because of being shot in the leg. And we don't want that to happen because it's our country. We've said that according to our constitution, we share power to a group of people who will call themselves government. You are a Gen Z, Yadero Onyango. What do we do? What is the cost of kunyamaza? And what is the cost of kuendelea? And what is the cost of doing it differently? Tutafanyaje kama Gen Zs?
Yes, I think that is a good question, Juan. And I guess for something good to happen, there's some intensive sacrifice that we must sacrifice. I mean, you see, previous when we were fighting for independence, some people had to die for freedom to come, for us to get that independence. When we are fighting for this multipartyism, some people had to pass through what we call chaotic experience and bad experience for something good to happen. And that multiparty has now again helped us that at least we can now air out our issues, the freedom of speech and everything. It used not to be there during one party state, during Moi reign. Then again, the same situation here. For us to get what we want, there are some people who must sacrifice for it. You see? And in this generation, Gen Zs have stepped up to sacrifice. So even you telling us that you will shoot one of our leg or we will shoot our legs, that should not make us feel that now we'll just be relaxed, not to fight for what belongs to us. Remember, after Daryl Reagan, there's another generation will come. People like Madiba fought for this country. They are no longer there. But see, we are enjoying their fruits. One day, my child will say, I'm a proud Kenyan because Daryl Reagan fought for this country. So shooting us should not deter us to fight for what is right. And my fellow youths, let us stand firm and fight for what is right. These talks, these aimless talks we get from presidents, CS, should not deter us from fighting what is right. That's my input.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
Your input ni kubwa, design yenye ningetaka I think on everyone who will get to watch that bite.
Okay.
Either during this live stream or on this live stream or on the subsequent video bites that we cut and post on all KUTV Kenya social media platforms. Tutoke hapo hivyo tuingia international juu ni kumaliza tunamaliza. And the Daily Nation is talking about Israeli Gaza raid kills 6 children fetching water. It's about what is happening in the Middle East na imekuwa ikiendelea sana. Wakili, how is this affecting Kenyans now, and how can we be prepared for anything? Around 2022 when Russia-Ukraine was starting, mafuta yalikosekana, and one part of the government was saying it's because of Russia-Ukraine war, and the other part of the government was saying no, wacheni nishike Bible, nikieka chini mafuta yatarudi chini. Such things could happen in future.
Yeah, sure.
What is the impact?
Yes. One, first and foremost, we need to understand that Kenya is not isolated in a different solar system. That we fall as a country in between a continent that is in the world at large. So activities in and around the world contribute to our performance as an economy. And I remember when the budget was being discussed, they said that they had a revenue collection of 8.5%, an increment in revenue collection. But then due to an inflation, we had a depreciated performance of our shilling of 4%. So it leads us to an average decline. Yes, we have collected much more from the pockets of Kenyans, but it is a general decline because of global activities such as this. And I think this is for our leaders. They are much or more or less stakeholders at this. They should refrain from such wars. I see we are having a crisis in our country. We are taking loans and all this, but yet we have the capacity to send police officers to Haiti. Police stations back at home are being burnt, yet we are sending officers to Haiti. I think there is a little bit of mismanagement there of human resource and even resources at large. So we should refrain from such things. Israel may or may have not gone a little bit too far. I mean, when you strike a sovereign country like that, you have killed parents, you have killed brothers, fathers. Even if you leave it at that, there are children who are bitter. So you have two options. You either continue and finish up the job, or when you go home, prepare for war. Because now that you have hurt us, there's a quote I was reading from a Stoics book, and it was saying, when you hurt, and if you are indeed to hurt an enemy, don't do them small damage, because they will get back at their feet. This is Israel's war. If we happen to indulge as a country, we are already at a state where we need to be more focused to ourselves as a republic than to engage in such matters. I think we have more to learn. We have a bigger space to grow before we can go to that.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Tukimalizia, diplomatic ties between Kenya and other countries matters a lot, since we are not an isolated country, as you said, Wakili. That class, Kenya eyes 3 more UK flight slots to boost investment. Sisi ni watu tunapenda kutembea sana. Na tutarudi UK tena mara zingine ngapi? 3. Address our diplomatic ties and our relationship with outside countries, especially those wenye wako katikati ya ngori. Juu tumejipata mpaka Sudan tuenda kule kuingililia, tuko opposition mbaya.
Yes, I think as a country we have a lot to do within the country, that we should not try to solve some scores of other countries before we solve ours. And I will just advise the government, if we can solve the problem we have, then at least we can now go extra mile to go and help another country to solve theirs. But for now, with the current state and status quo where we are in, we can't go and proceed to go and solve some scores of a certain country. Let us just work within our limit, then after that we'll see what we do. In matters relationship with other foreign country, it's good, but let it be in terms of investment, employment, economic development, something that at least can boost our economy, can boost this problem we have, Gen Z's things in terms of employment. We'll be very happy when at least we initiate a program with the UK to build a factory in Kenya that will employ our youths. We'll stand for that. But in a situation where the government is being funded to take our police system abroad to go and fight for what we are not part of it, I think it's not a good thing. Let them fight their war, and we also solve our issues. Just to comment on the issue of Middle East, we also understand this superpower. They are a bit controlling the world now, and this things to do with geopolitics is something that is very complicated. This, I think, superiority, what is called superiority complex, and this country are trying to fight for that. Because if you get to know the reason even Israel is fighting against the Iran, everything, you see, you'll understand, because they are trying to have the nuclear weapons. That is the reason why they are fighting. You see? So you ask yourself. And you see this country who is complaining of another country having nuclear weapon is also having a nuclear weapon. So I think, and Kenya, we have not reached that level where we can even try to make even one nuclear weapon. Where should we indulge in those fights? Yet we are not on their rank. Let us. I think we are one of the upcoming third world country. And in terms of development, if we can change only the governance, I think Kenya can be the best in Africa and can be the darling of Africa. Yes.
Kabisa. Coming from Art and Culture Monday, whereby we receive a lot of upcoming artists, one may wonder, upcoming inafaa ifike miaka ngapi? Ni miaka ngapi ikifika you are not upcoming anymore? Because as a country we've been upcoming third world, upcoming what? We are just upcoming. Gentlemen, nataka tuingie kwa segment inaitwa Lines za Kikwetu. If you've been following Kenyatta University Television, you've seen our guests coming here, not simping their usual sharubati, but giving us wisdom in their own mother tongue and then translating. The wisdom could be a tongue twister, the wisdom could be a wise saying like proverb, idiom, hizo vitu zote, but in your own mother tongue. So na expect kukuwa na moja ya Kiambu na moja ya Homa Bay, and then zikuwe translated in a language that everyone anaweza understand. So tuko pamoja hadi hapo hivyo kabisa. So today's Lines za Kikwetu, ladies and gentlemen, is proudly sponsored by Kenyatta University, and the best university in Kenya, the premier university in Kenya, welcomes you all to 57th graduation ceremony that will be held this Friday, 18th July 2025, starting at 8 a.m. And the theme for this year's Kenyatta University 57th graduation ceremony is Education for Ethics Guided Research and Technology. I repeat, Education for Ethics Guided Research and Technology. Some of the faces that you are expecting to graduate in the future is youth leader Regan Adero Onyango, who is hailing from Homa Bay. He's the current president of Homa Bay Students Council. And also we have on set Wakili, who will be set to graduate. Well, kwanza uko second year sizes doing law. Umalize uingie Kenya School of Law. As people are setting the bar, ulewesho then uingie. This Friday, kuna wale ambao atakuwa kiwaona. We've produced the best lawyers. You can remember when we were doing the mock court, moot court in South Africa. And people brilliant as yourself won from Kenyatta University. We are hoping for the best. So we are welcoming you right here at KU main campus, and that graduation will be live on Kenyatta University Television, YouTube, Facebook, and all, and the website of KU. Website ya KU ama Kenyatta University. Regan, nataka tutoke hapa Lines za Kikwetu. Tuanze Homa Bay. Ndo tukuje hadi hapa karibu neighbor, si ndio?
Okay. I think you are Juan. There are many, but I'll give one. It goes that wek umochet gitombo podobiro dum.
Haya. Tuko class. Si ni university.
Yes.
Tuende pole pole to learn. Mimi na Wakili and plus our camera crew.
Yes.
This is coming from the Lake region.
Yeah, wek umochet inamaanisha chet is feces. You see?
Wek umochieth.
Wek umochieth, so the chet is feces. Now usifunike na tombo, like unachukua mchanga unafunika nayo. It will still smell.
Ebu yanze sasa tena. Alafu we explain it.
Wek umochieth gitombo inamaanisha tombo ni that, you see that mchanga unachukua unafunika nayo.
Like so, a cat does?
Yes.
Or a dog?
Yeah, something like that. It will still smell. In other words, don't keep quiet when bad things are happening. Just rise up, because a day is coming when everything will be exposed. Yeah, that
everything will be exposed.
Yes.
Okay, nyamaza. Hiyo time ikifika.
Yeah.
On which side will you be?
Yeah, sure.
Tusizoee kuficha ficha especially na tumchanga tudogo. Naambia watu wa shoot au alafu kesho naamka nasema hapana, alisema shoot in the leg.
Yes, something
leg like bado ni part ya mwili.
Thank you.
Uliita aje hiyo ya kugonga mtu na nyundo as you go to your lines like you quit?
Grievous bodily harm.
Great.
Grievous bodily harm. So ni taniwia rathi. In my urge to fight tribalism that has held its roots in what we want to term as governance. Now it has contributed to poor governance. I had put it in me, nikasema for every word I will say on air, let it be a language yenye haitafanya ndugu yetu hapa Odero asikie kama hasikii vizuri.
But you see that will go against our show because from our show with Ojwang Mariam as a host coming from Mount Kenya but with a Luo name, we don't support in any way tribalism.
Yes.
That is why we are the best. But we understand from the words of Bob Marley that we have to understand where we are coming from so that we can be able to know where we are going. We keep giving trace to our local languages, Kenya, so that we cannot have languages being extinct. From where he is coming from, around Suba hapo hivyo, we have indigenous languages that have gone to extinct. One, because of today or modern day marriage whereby people intermarry. In South Africa, we've had the same. The Khoikhoi and the San, their languages ending. To promote indigenous local languages, which is in the UN SDGs na pale mwisho. Sisi kila wakati huwa tunapeana wisdom in our own language. Shosho siku moja alisema nini?
Alisema we have a saying that goes Yobokaga na Keria emereti.
Kabisa.
That is to say that it in exact paraphrasing, it flies with what it has consumed. So we watch out with what we consume, because that is surely what we will depart with. It was meant to encourage people to feed, especially the gents, because it was assumed that in a case of danger, women and children will be allowed to live for safety, but then the gents will live for war towards the danger. And so whatever you will have had is what you will take with to war. But as I was reflecting onto that, it was speaking to me that be careful what you consume matters, what you read, what you allow, what you tolerate, because at times of crisis, that is what you will have to go with.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Nimependa. Always ukifika hapo hivyo, kabla tuje kupesha rubeji, tubebeage kamoja kama hako. Zinafanya impact kubwa sana.